In our interview, I spoke to Barrister Adebayo Shittu, the Minister of Communications, on developments in the nation's communications technology sector. Barrister Adebayo Shittu, you're welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure.
Let's begin with earlier in the year when you launched the Information Communication Technology Strategic Roadmap. We need to get up to speed with the implementation of that roadmap.
The roadmap is a document which captures all that we are doing in the ministry with regard to ICT development. Time was when Nigeria had only oil. It didn't have anything like ICT. As a matter of fact, ICT is an evolving technology which is impacting very positively on all facets, of development. I want to also recall that time was when Nigeria, over the last 6 years, Nigeria has always had oil, and the revenues have been coming in, from oil. Oil became the mainstay of our economy. And, but despite that, Nigeria, in terms of, development, still remains a third world country, unfortunately. But we have also seen some other countries which never, for a day, never had petroleum. Some never even have, land for agriculture. And yet, by all indices of development, they have surpassed Nigeria, in terms of growth of the economy, in terms of the quality of life of the citizens and so on. So when, ICT debuted and on my assumption of office, of course, I didn't know anything. I knew next to nothing about ICT. And I felt the best way to go about it is to at least assemble, stakeholders and experts from within and from without Nigeria to gather at a retreat to assess, the ICT industry in Nigeria, assess where we have been coming from, and analyze where we are today and look forward to conceptualizing what we should be looking, forward to in the coming years with regard to impacting positively on Nigeria. I knew next to nothing on assumption of office, but I'm happy, as an aside, to say that within a year and a half of my being in this office, the central body of the stakeholders of the ICT industry, that is the Nigerian Computer Society, have, honored me with a fellowship of the Nigerian Computer Society. And that is in appreciation of the little that we have been doing, as, head of the ICT industry. Having said that, I want to say that we, consequent upon the retreat, which was held in Ibadan, where more than 400 stakeholders and experts assembled for a whole week, ideas were, generated, and we formulated this into what has become the ICT Roadmap 2017 to 2020. Of course, highlights of, the contents of the roadmap, which has been formally approved as a national policy by the Federal Executive Council, include components on, developing the telecom sector, components on developing the NIPOS, the postal sector, components on developing our satellite communication system, components on developing Galaxy Backbone, which is, one of the agencies under the ministry, and components on developing NITDA. Of course, last but not the least is the USPF, Universal Service Provision Fund, which, has its own component.
Now, what are the timelines you're looking at to achieve, many of these objectives?
Well, I will not be able to say categorically now about the timeline. They are in the document, and, sectorally, each of the agencies through which we are implementing the policies. Recall that the ministry is to coordinate all of the jobs that each of these 6 agencies, are implementing. So each of them has timelines, and, the timelines are embedded in the roadmap. But I would, if you like, I can start to tell you what we're trying to do